Hello everybody and welcome to my video. My name is Meghna Verma and today I've made this video in regard with Module 6, Unit 1, Activity 1, Unpacking a Standard. Well, let's take a look at the standard itself. The standard 2PS14 Matter and its interaction states that students who demonstrate understanding can construct an argument with evidence that some changes caused by heating or cooling can be reversed and some cannot. Let's take a look at the source of the standard. I chose the standard from Next Generation Science Standards website. And let's break down this code, 2PS14. Well, 2 stands for the grade 1, that's grade 2. PS stands for the domain, that's physical science. Unit 1, Lesson 4, Matter and its interaction. Any science standard has 3 pillars. They are science and engineering practices. These are the skills students do. Disciplinary core ideas. This is knowledge that students know. And cross-cutting concepts. These help them build cross-curricular goals and also 21st century skills. Moving on to why this particular standard. Well, as you know, that chemical reactions are all around us. They happen when we boil water to make coffee or when we are digesting food in our own stomach. So I felt this topic is very relevant in day-to-day life. It'll also help build 21st century skills and build deductive reasoning skills. It'll also help kids in asking questions. So the next time when their mom is making eggs or cooking something, the kids are going to be intrigued and would like to know if this reaction is reversible or irreversible, and what effects do heating and cooling have on vegetables and food that we cook. So moving on to the big ideas or the disciplinary core ideas or nouns of the standard. They are changes, reversible or irreversible, heating, cooling, and chemical reactions. The skills or the science and engineering practices or the things that students will do are construct an argument, generate evidence to support their claim or support the argument. Moving on to the 21st century skills or the cross-cutting concepts involved in the standard or the lesson. Well, as I told you before, this lesson is rich in 21st century skills. The students will be involved in critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. The students will learn that events have causes that lead to effects and generate observable patterns. The students will be working together and collaborating on the in-class project, experiment. Now, communication is key to any experiment. So while students are working on the experiment, they will be communicating with each other and communicating with me, the teacher. At the same time, they will be providing reviews for their peers about their conclusions. Creativity. Students will have the opportunity to be creative when they're working on one of the projects where we will be creating an art piece by melting crayons and solidifying crayons. Moving on to the activities and the projects that will show us that learning is taking place. So I decided to go with an online quiz on Kahoot. Well, it can happen in class or online as well, where I will be asking some questions, and this will be a very engaging and fun way of making sure that learning is happening. Let me show you the quiz itself. Melting and freezing butter is an example of a reversible change. Cooking an egg is an example of a non-reversible change. Making things colder with ice is an example of cooling. Melting crayons with a hair dryer is an example of heating. The type of change that cannot be undone is a non-reversible change. Moving on to the in-class activity, well, we are going to dive into project-based learning, where students will experiment along with me and with different objects such as chocolate, balloons, butter, ice, crayons, and eggs. And they will be concluding their arguments about the effect of cooling and heating on such objects. So we will be melting and solidifying chocolate to show that it's a reversible change. We will be melting butter and solidifying it to show that it's a reversible change again. We will be cooking egg to show that it's an irreversible change where eggs cannot be brought back to their previous form. Ultimately, students will conclude the experiment with their arguments based on the results from the experiment in a flip-grid video. We'll also be reviewing their peers. How to gauge the learning has happened? I will be using an ongoing assessment or a formative assessment in the form of the Kahoot quiz to know that students are learning and they are grasping the concepts correctly. And at the same time, it'll give me feedback on questions or concepts where students need clarification. Here you can see a sample of the exit ticket. It is rich in visuals and images that will help students with special needs so that I can differentiate the assessment for them. At the same time, for advanced students, I would like them to reflect on whatever they have learned so far, or maybe even go further and experiment, or maybe take an experiment home and do it with under the supervision of their parents. So that's all from the video. I hope I've done justice to the standard. I look forward to your feedback. Thank you very much for watching the video.